So, sir, with this kind of an attitude, I don't think this address has any meaning, and that is why I said this is a beautiful piece of fiction. Sir, in any country, in any society, man, a human being, is the primary unit. A government is meant for increasing the value of a human being, his existence. A human being can exist as a daily wage laborer, and a human being can also exist as an enlightened man, an educated man, highly educated man. This is the question which we have before us. Every now and then, our people, the media, everybody compares India with China. Where China was 50 years back and where India was 50 years back, and where China stands today and where India stands today. China is 50 years ahead of us. China is 50 years ahead of us because they have invested in human resource, in the development of human resource. That is why they are in science, technology, military, economy, sports, you name it, in all the fields they are 50 years ahead of us, because they have invested in human resource. They don't see a human being just as a laborer. The government congratulates itself repeatedly over Manrega scheme. What is Manrega? A human being who has the potential to become scientist, academicians, engineer, doctor, they have been reduced to the level of an animal. The work which an animal can do, a human being is put into their job, and we proudly claim that we are giving job to him. This is not the meaning of a job. Working for 100 rupees per day is not a job. It is not a job. You are reducing the level of a man, a human being, to the level of an animal. A job is a permanent job with dignity and honor, where the person who is doing the job, he feels a sense of fulfillment. That is the job. And that too 100 days per year. So what is the meaning of this? You have wasted 1,50,000 crore rupees. It's a pure waste. This money has not gone for development of human beings. And unless this is done, you talk of making India a superpower in the next by 2020. I think you need to understand the meaning of superpower. We are in 2012 now. After 8 years, we will be in 2020. India will become superpower by 2020. I can only laugh at this proposition. Our level in economy, infant mortality, education, literacy, health facilities. There are many studies have been there which say that the level of India is even below the sub-Saharan countries. Sub-Saharan countries, African country, their level is even below that. And we proudly claim that by 2020 we will become superpower. I don't know what to call. What to call this? What to call this, sir? I remember the year 1986 or 87 when late Shri Rajiv Gandhi ji, he was the Prime Minister of this country. He gave a slogan, beautiful slogan, health for all by 2000 years. Health for all by 2000. So we still, in 86 we still had 14 years. So we thought maybe by 2000 they will be able to achieve this target. We are still 14 years. And after those 14 years, another 12 years has passed. 2012. Health for all, it still looks like a dream, distant dream, looks like a mirage. The more we go towards it, the more further it runs away. I agree. And I must congratulate really congratulate the government for doing something in the field of polio eradication. It's a commendable job which the government has been able to do. I must appreciate. But there's a lot which needs to be done. But the government is paying no attention to it. And most of the victims of these problems, health problems, the poor people living in villages, small cities, They are Dalit people only, backward people only, Muslims only. Again, the inhabitants of Bharat and not India. So what the government is planning to do in this direction, this documents, this fiction doesn't tell. One more thing, sir. Land acquisition policy. The last few months, the government has said a lot about land acquisition policy. One of the big leaders of, youth leader of Congress party, he took up this issue of land acquisition on a very big scale a few months back. I want to tell, sir, by live example, the performance or the attitude of this government towards land acquisition. Sir, I'll give two examples about the land acquisition policy of this government. And I think that these two examples should open the eyes of everybody. In Tamil Nadu state, sir, there's a place called Madurai. In the year 1973, Madurai airport was constructed. Land was acquired at that time. And land was acquired from that village on which this airport stands today, called Chinna Edappu village, near Madurai. 600 acres of land was sought to be acquired by the government. And all this land, 600 acres, belonged to Dalit people. Dalit people. When the government officials approached them, these Dalit people said, sir, we are ready to give this land free to the government. They willingly said that we are ready to give this land free to the government, provided the government names this proposed airport in the name of Dr. Ambedkar. That was a small condition they put before the government, and government says, yes, okay, we'll do it. The land was given, not even a single paisa was given to these villages, Dalit villages. But after that, when the airport came up, no Ambedkar name. The people protested. They said, okay, if you don't want to keep the name of Ambedkar, give us our money. Nothing happened. Some 10 years back, sir, again this airport was made international airport, more land was acquired. Another 200-300 acres or 400 acres. The villagers said, okay, please give us our land. No money was given. The land was forcibly acquired. Last year when I went to that place, the villagers told me about this. I raised this issue in the parliament through a question, sir. I asked this question from the minister about the land, the compensation. This is the copy of the answer which was given by the minister. And the government said that we have paid 3 crore 46 lakh and something, and another 1 crore rupee. This is the reply of the government, that we have paid 3 crore rupees and 1 crore rupees for under different heads. The fact is, sir, till today, not even a single rupee has been given to the villagers. Only when my question, it must have reached the office of the Honorable Minister, it must have been given further to the local authorities. At that time, there was some activity, the SDM and Tehsildar, they went around the village and gave some piece of paper to the people, okay, now we will give you some money. They were given some pieces of paper, and till today, not even a single rupee has been given to these people. This false and misleading replies coming from the government. This is the attitude of the government. This land is worth crores of rupees, but these Dalit villagers, they have not been paid, not just once, twice, for almost 1,000 acres of land which has been forcibly acquired from them. Another example I will give, sir. Last year, sometime in February, Honorable Prime Minister, he went and inaugurated a big container terminal in Cochin called Vallarpadam. Around February last year, sir. Vallarpadam container terminal. Incidentally, the day he was inaugurating, I was also there in the Cochin city at that time, sir. I was present there, sir. And the Prime Minister, and I saw his speech on television. Honorable Prime Minister was very proudly saying that this is a very big step for our country's development. We are proud to have this thing. I'm not against container terminals. I'm not against development. But what happened, sir? The same evening I went to that place called Vallarpadam, and I met 250 families, poor fishermen belonging to Latin Christian community. For the approach road leading to that Vallarpadam container terminal, their houses were forcibly brought down, bulldozed. I'll tell you. I'm coming to that, sir.
Settled it. It is immediately settled.
No, okay.
No,
Yeah, okay. I know, sir.
New government.
I'm coming to that, sir. I'm coming to that. How it has been settled, I'll open it now, sir. I will open it, sir. I'm giving you exact example, so you can go and verify, sir. We both will go and we'll verify on the spot. This fishermen who were having two-story house, pakka house, good houses, I saw a CD the day it was demolished. I saw the local people showed me a CD. How the police came, all the people were pushed into one community center. It was locked from outside. Bulldozers came and all the houses were demolished. I can give you the CD, sir. And sir, not just that. In the CD also I saw another thing. The then Chief Minister, Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala State, what he was saying, he was telling that these people who are opposing, who are asking for their rights or their compensation for land, they are Naxalites. I can supply the CD. I can.
Name the Chief Minister, number one. Then only we can answer, because we come from Kerala. We know the situation. He lives somewhere in the northern part of India. Speak on something hearsay. Let him please say that. Who is the Chief Minister? Please tell us.
You want to name? Mr. Achyutanandan. Achyutanandan. I will, sir,
don't take the name. I don't have to say it.
I can say he never said.
He's asking, sir.
He never said.
He's asking. That's why
He
never said it.
You follow this.
I didn't
because
say
he
the
is
name.
not here to defend.
But I can give the, sir, I can supply him the CD.
Will you yield just 1 minute?
Yes, please.
You see, Achyutanandan does not belong to my party, but everything what he says is being. Let me please. Please. Yield up.
Okay.
Yield up.
Mr. Kurian.
Yield up. Yield kar diya, Baba. Yield kar diya. See, Achyutanandan does not belong to my party, but everything what he says is reported in the press. Never such a report has been seen.
Okay. Please.
I am telling you.
Okay.
So I believe he must not have said it.
Sir,
You can answer that.
Sir,
when you speak.
I will get 250 CDs of that CD.
But Mr. Kurian, then
No, sir. You have to start again. No. You have to start again from this post. No, sir. Post once you have to start again, sir. You don't count this, sir. Sir, I will make 250 copies of the CD and it will be given to all the members of the August House, sir. This is a promise which I am making on the floor of the House, sir. And these houses were demolished and they were given land. Some people were given, as Valyarabiji has rightly said, they were given land. It was a land which was low land, which was ultimately filled with loose soil. They were given 1,000 square feet plots, and they were given 2 lakh and 3 lakh rupees for their 2-story houses. With this 2 lakh rupees, they can't even fill the foundation of that land. Because in a filled land, you have to go 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 feet down to get the solid ground. And these people, even if you go today, they are still living in shacks. They are still living in shacks. The people who had 2-story houses, they are still living in shacks. So this is the condition, this is the land acquisition policy of this government, sir. So with this kind of attitude, again I would say, this government, the attitude of this government is favored more towards the rich people than the rich, as compared to the poor people. So finally, sir, And finally, sir, Venkaiah Naidu ji, he was comparing this government, he was giving an example of an automobile. As to in this government, a driver is somebody, the person who's having his foot on the clutch, the brake, somebody is having foot on the accelerator, somebody is the navigator. So many people are guiding this vehicle. That is why it is not going anywhere. This very aptly summarizes the face and the working of this government, sir.
Thank you.
I will slightly modify what Venkaiah Naidu said. In this government, sir, it is playing very beautiful game. What it is doing, it is pressing the accelerator. Engine is making noise, so you feel the vehicle is moving at a very fast pace. You get a feeling. But there is another leg of the government which is pressing the clutch completely. So engine is moving, it is consuming power. It is consuming power. It is making a lot of noise as if it is moving at a very fast pace. But vehicle is not moving because the design and the mentality of this government is it doesn't want this vehicle to run. They want to give this impression that this country is running at a very fast pace, making a lot of noise. But till the engine gets engaged with the clutch box, the gearbox, the vehicle will not move. And unless you remove your leg from the clutch, the vehicle, the gearbox and the engine shaft will not come into contact and vehicle will not move. So, sir, I think this government is not inclined to remove the leg from the clutch. They want to give an impression that they want development, but they are not interested in development at all, and especially they are not interested in the development of Bharat. With these words, I thank you, sir, for giving this time and opportunity to speak on this
You have
subject.
spoken from your time.
Thank you, sir. No, still 10 minutes are left, sir. 20 minutes are left, sir.
Shri
Thank you.
Shivanand Tiwari ji.